lay all the way down on your back. Let your legs rest long. Let your arms rest to your sides. And once you make your way to your back here, you could kind of turn your palms up towards the ceiling. Maybe lift your upper back off the mat just for a moment to draw the shoulder blades together. Just a little to lay your back down on the ground, letting the heart, the chest be open, the palms be facing up towards the sky. And just as we begin here, let the rest of your body be at ease. And just allow yourself to rest heavy into the earth. Feel the ground come up to meet your back body. So all the parts of the back of your body connecting down to the ground. And as you start to notice your mind wandering and coming away from this moment, gently bring yourself back to the awareness of your body on the earth. Start to notice your breath. Notice the gentle inhale, the gentle exhale. And keep the connection of your awareness of breath as you inhale through the nose and you exhale through the nose or mouth. And just take about 5 more breaths like this. Full inhale and full exhale. 4 more. Slowly releasing the jaw, letting the tension go. 3. Letting yourself melt heavier and heavier into the ground each time, each breath. And after this full breath cycle, exhale, let your breath go. And then take one hand to the low belly, take one hand to the chest or the heart space. And take a few moments to breathe a little more bigger now. So as you breathe in, really fill up wide. Send your breath all the way around your rib cage. Send your breath into your abdomen. As you exhale, feel your body release towards the earth. And as you take these breaths with your hands on your body, notice if you feel your breath more in your top hand than your bottom hand. And if that's the case, which it often is, just gently invite deeper breath into the bottom hand. Trying to keep the top hand relatively quiet. And as you start noticing your ability to purposefully change, to make a choice, to breathe this way, see if you can also invite a longer exhale than inhale. So as you inhale, maybe you count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you exhale, maybe you count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue on your own. So count to yourself. Breathing in, pausing at the top, and then breathing out. Longer, fuller exhale. Depending on the amount of time you have during your time on your mat, you could stay here for any length of time that would feel good for you. Inviting the longer exhale will help you to get into a calm state, coming out of that flight or fight feeling. Take one more like that. Filling up your abdomen, pausing at the top. Exhaling all the way down, slow and complete. All the way to the bottom. And then feel free to pause the video and stay here as long as you'd like, if this really resonates for you right now. If you're ready to move from here, you can slowly blink your eyes open if they're closed and take your arms back again along your sides. Start to lift your kneecaps, and so you start to activate the legs and the toes start to point up towards the ceiling, almost as if you're pressing your feet on an imaginary wall that would be in front of your mat where your feet are. And then on your inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Take a full big body stretch. Spread your toes, spread your fingers, big, long, and wide. As you exhale, draw your right knee into your chest. Hook your hands around the back of your thigh and draw your knee in. Roll your shoulders back and then keep pressing with your left leg long so that your foot is again pressing on that imaginary wall and really active. And then from here, we'll take gentle circles with your right thigh, your right knee. And you can just come from midline and then inhale and move away across the body and then come back in towards midline. If you want, you can take your left hand on the top of your left hip and just guide this movement with your right hand. You don't want there to be a lot of movement in your low back or a lot of rocking of the pelvis. So this movement does not have to be very big. But you're just kind of exploring the movement, the hip range of motion, and continuing to move with your breath. And we'll just take one more time in this direction. And then eventually we'll pause at the point in the middle. And then as you exhale, just go the other direction. I like to keep my left hand on my hip just for some stability. We'll continue breathing. Any clicking, popping, any catching or pain in the back, you just want to modify the range of motion. You want this to feel easy and fluid. No pain, no, push through, or no pain, no gain. We don't want any of that. Just breathing through gentle, easeful movement. And then eventually on your next breath, exhale and draw the knee into the chest. And then exhale and plant the right foot all the way out long on the mat. Inhale, take your left knee into your chest. Hold on the back of the thigh. Roll the heart open, roll the shoulders back. Draw the knee in and feel the stretching, the deepening of that front hip crease in the left hip. Flex your right ankle and point your toes in the ceiling so that right leg is really long. And then we'll do the same thing. So maybe the right hand comes to the right hip and we start to turn the left thigh in a circle, almost like you're mixing a bowl of your femur inside the pelvic joint there where the femur meets the pelvis, the hip joint. And keep breathing here. It's so easy to hold the breath as we think about the movement or we find tension. And so really let this be about your breath. Release any tension you're holding in your neck. And then eventually find stillness and we'll go the other direction. Moving out, inhale and then across to center, exhale. Again, no pain, no clicking, catching. If you are experiencing that, just see if you can make the movements smaller. Like they could be really small and mindful, and they don't have to be this big, big movement. There's no end game there. And then eventually exhale, bring the knee back into the chest, and then release the left leg long on the mat. Inhale, take your arms, reach back up overhead. As you exhale, draw your hands down towards the floor, bend your knees, and then make your way over onto your hands and knees. And so once you come to your hands and knees, we'll take the hands right under the shoulders and the knees right underneath the hips. You can untuck your toes. And if at any point your wrists start to become sensitive, you can always come up and make fists, and so that you protect your wrists. Now look down between your hands, tuck your chin in slightly, and then as you inhale, lift your tailbone. Let your abdominals kind of point towards the floor as you send your chest forward, gaze forward. This is a time where it's really easy to let the shoulders come up towards the ears. So soften the shoulders away from the ears as you hollow out the space between your shoulder blades. Then as you exhale, draw your lower abs in and up as you round your back, and then press the ground away with your hands. You spread your shoulder blades apart. Let your head release. Gently rock your head side to side. Let your jaw go. First sort of moment here, really trying to let go of the tension we hold in the neck and shoulders. And then come back to the middle. And then on your inhale, we'll find our cow pose again. Lifting the heart, spreading the sit bones, shining the chest forward. Energetically, pull your hands towards your knees. So you're not actually moving, but you're almost just like dragging or creating a little tension of the hands drawing towards the knees to create space and lifting of the spine forward, gaze forward. Exhale, round. 2 more times like this. Inhale. Exhale. And last time, full breath in, full breath out. I also forgot to mention that you should probably pad your knees with a blanket. So if you've been doing this with me through the video and you're finding your knees being really tender, Grab a blanket or a pillow and place your knees there if you haven't already, so that your knees are soft, because I don't want you to have kneecap pain here on hands and knees. Okay, so from here, we're just going to take a moment, tuck the toes under, walk the hands forward, take a big breath, exhale, just engage your core, so abdominals, belly to spine, and then lift the knees up, and then press your hips back in space, keep the knees soft, and spread your fingers wide. Now as you come back into down dog with the knees really bent, you can think of lifting the sit bones up towards the ceiling, then walk your hands forward a little bit if you'd like. Turn your palms to face out slightly so your shoulders externally rotate, wrapping those biceps in towards one another with slightly soft elbows as you press the ground away. Think about downward facing dog as being like a pressing action with your arms, and that way you can send your hips up and back. Now the heels can stay lifted, there's no reason to force those heels onto the ground. You might bend one knee and sort of straighten the other, although you don't have to straighten it all the way. A couple times like this, you could gaze down at a space between your feet beyond your mat. That is a nice point of focus. Notice your breath. Feel length along the side body, both side bodies. So like right side of the body, left side of the body. And then find stillness with your feet. You might walk your feet slightly further apart, bend your knees, let your head dangle. See if you can find a little softness between your shoulders and your ears while you're still pushing the floor away. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Nod your head yes. Nod your head no. Being mindful to keep this natural curve in the low back. So we're not rounding the low back. We're keeping that nice natural space in the low back. And 2 more breaths here like this. 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. Slowly from here, walk your feet to your hands and your hands to your feet, but stay low in your knees so that you never really have to come into a big round in your back. Now with the feet slightly wide, inhale and come to halfway lift. So shoulders are in line with your hips. You could place a little ball in your low back and there'd be a space for it. So there's a nice curve there in the low back. As you exhale, plant your hands on your outer hips and roll your shoulders back. Gaze down, tuck your chin slightly in. Now feel your feet into the ground, bring the weight into the heels, and then exhale as you press your way to stand. As you inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. You won't see my hands, but reach them up overhead, gaze up, and then exhale and take your hands to your heart, roll your shoulders back. We'll find Tadasana, which is mountain pose. And so this is a shape where we're standing strongly into the feet. The feet are about hip width apart. And just once you get there, lift all 10 toes and feel the points of the big toe mound, the baby toe mound. So these are these places right at the heads of your toes. And the back of your heel in the center. Feel those 3 points like a pyramid grounding into the earth. And then with the toes lifted, slowly take baby toe and then all the way from the outside in back to the ground. And still feel that little bit of the inner arch lift. Soften your knees a little to engage the muscles in your legs. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms back up overhead. Feel your feet, again, rooting to the ground. Take your right hand to the left wrist. Inhale from the ground up, reach up, again, finding length along the side body. Exhale, gently side bend to the right, but we're not going far. We're thinking more lift and slightly side bend, like you're creating this arc shape. No compression into the spine, we just find length. As you inhale, we'll rise back up, switch hands. Exhale, side bend to your left. Again, you can tell I'm not really going very far. See if I turn myself this way. I'm not actually going very far. I'm just kind of lifting up, keeping everything nice and steady here and finding length along the side. And then inhale, come back up to center. With the feet nice and wide, you can widen them a little bit more. Bend your knees, take your hands to heart, and exhale, dive forward. Again, keeping that natural curve in the low back. Knees are soft. Forward fold. Let your head go. It's a nice time to let your head kind of dangle. If you had any props, like if you have a furniture nearby maybe, or like yoga blocks or a chair, like a stool, you can put your hands there. That way your hands can be on the ground, but again, you're not over rounding the back. If that makes sense. Inhale, find your halfway lift here. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale, hands to hips, and then press your way up. Inhale, sweep arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll take tree pose here to round out our little mini sequence. So stand strongly into, I'm going to mirror you, so stand strongly into your left leg. Lift your right knee up, and then we'll turn and place the ankle, the heel on the ankle. So as we begin here, you can start by just placing the big toe mound of your right foot onto the ground, your heel into the upper part of your ankle. Then hug your hips into one another, especially the standing leg, the left side, so you get that glute working. Hands to heart, roll your shoulders back. You might find a place to focus your gaze. Then if you'd like, you could take your arms and reach them up overhead. Meet yourself where you are, which might mean staying here. We want to be able to still breathe through this. You don't want to have to hold your breath in order to maintain it. Find a place to focus your gaze, which is, we call it drishti. So focus your gaze on one non-moving point. Find your breath, wherever you are with your arms. At some point after you've practiced this for a while, you might look up to challenge your balance a little bit. You also could then start to walk your foot up the leg and slightly higher and off the ground. So you meet yourself again. Practice this. Over time, you'll feel more options available to you. Wherever you are, stay for 2 more breaths. Sorry, my head is cut off. 1 more full inhale. If your arms are up overhead, exhale, take the hands to your heart, release the foot to the ground, take your arms along your sides, find your Tadasana, your mountain pose, intentional standing posture. We'll switch the weight into the right leg. Lift the left heel, place it on the inside of your ankle, come place your palms together. Hug your right hip in towards midline, now zip up through your core, roll the shoulders back. Crown of the head is reaching up towards the sky. Maybe your arms reach, depends on where you are today. Maybe you look up a little bit, challenge your balance. Maybe your foot starts to come up, depends. Make sure you can breathe. Find that non-moving point of focus. 2 more breaths. 1 more full breath in. Exhale, plant your hands back to heart center. Release your foot to the ground. Land in your mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a moment to place 1 hand on your chest, your heart, 1 hand on your abdomen. Feel your feet rooted into the ground. Knees soft, crown of the head reaching upwards towards the sky, and the heart and chest open. Check back in with your breath. See if you can send your breath to your lower hand. See if you can make your exhales long and slow. Take at least 3 more breaths here. And 2. Another full breath in. Full breath out. You can choose to stay here and then open your eyes and start to go about your day. Or if you'd like to take a true Shavasana, which is just a rest, laying down, more traditional, you're welcome to make your way back to the ground, back to the mat. Make your way all the way down. You could use any props you'd like, so a pillow under your legs or under your head. Let your legs now rest easy, the palms facing up, heart open, head heavy. Allow yourself to rest here for as long as you'd like, feeling the ground come up to hold you. No control, no effort, only ease, just for these moments. Shavasana.